Good morning. Starting this week, first week in November. Welcome. We are gonna take today and tomorrow to explain the Electoral College. This is not a college like University of Arizona or Arizona State or Eastern Arizona College. This is something completely different, but something that you may have been hearing a lot about lately. Something that you're going to be hearing about a lot the next couple of days, because this is actually how our country votes. It's going to take a little bit of explaining here. This is a map of the United States, right? But it's all red and blue. This is a map that you might be seeing a lot if you're following the presidential election, and I really want to take some time off today and tomorrow, because if you're watching this on Monday, November 2nd, tomorrow, Tuesday the 3rd, in the evening, is when we may very well have, I should say, there is going to be a presidential election. We just very well may know the outcome, or it might take a little while. But tomorrow is voting day, November 3rd. You can see a lot of maps like this. Now, what in the world does it mean? Well, for starters, you need this many, or I should say you need as many points as you can to get 270. You need 270 points to win. What does that mean? I think most of us know that we have 50 states, so how in the world do you get 270? And again, what does the blue mean? What does the red mean? How do you get to 270? We're going to learn that today. Here is the same map of the United States, and each state is given a number. Now, each state's number that you see is the number of votes given to a presidential candidate if that presidential candidate wins that state. So, when mommy and daddy or auntie, or if you have a cousin who's 18 years and older, they go and vote in our state, they tally up all the votes. Literally, there could be up to 6 million votes if everybody votes in Arizona. And whoever has more votes in those presidential candidates wins the state of Arizona. So in that case, they would win 11 points. I should say points. That's really not well said. We talk about the Electoral College. They win 11 votes. Now, why does Arizona get 11 votes? Why does Texas get 38? Look at California, 55 votes? What in the world? Well, here's how they came up with that number. And this is way back when in the Constitution. I know there's a whole lot of words on this on this sheet here, but here it is. You might know that we have what's called in Washington, D.C., the House of Representatives and the Senate. Let's stick with the Senate first. Every single state gets the same number of senators. That's 2. That's no matter if you're a really tiny state like Rhode Island or the biggest state like Alaska, you each get 2. Now, the House of Representatives, that is divided up by state population, or how many people live there. The states with the bigger populations, they get more representatives. The states with lower populations, they might only get 1 representative. So, my fine folks, if we go back to this map right here, that's the reason why California has the most. Remember, they get 2 votes for the 2 senators and then 53 representatives, because there's by far the most people living in California than in any other state. Can anybody find the second state? I should say the state with the second most people in it in our country? There it is, Texas with 38. So again, if you want to look it up, they have 36 representatives that get voted on in the state of Texas and represent their state in Washington. And then they get 2 senators. 36 plus 2 equals 38. If you notice, there's a decent number of states that only have 3. And let's think about that again. That state has 2 senators and only 1 representative in the House of Representatives in Washington. That's states like North Dakota, South Dakota, Wyoming, Montana, Alaska. I think we have some on the East Coast, Delaware, Vermont, Washington, D.C., right? Those can be big states. Wyoming, Montana, Alaska, the biggest state. But again, every state gets 2 senators. The House of Representatives is dependent completely on state population or how many people live in that state. So even though Alaska, Montana, Wyoming are big, not a lot of people that live there. That's why they only get 3. So if a presidential candidate wins Arizona, we said in the state of Arizona, they count the votes, say, whoop, this guy or gal has the most votes in our state, they get our 11 votes. If you win the whole state of Wyoming, you get all 3 of those votes. Kind of interesting here, even some of the smaller states, Pennsylvania is not tiny, but look at that. They got 20. There's a lot of people that live in the state of Pennsylvania, even though it's not really huge. So, if you're a presidential candidate, you might be thinking, some states I really want to win are California, Texas, Florida, New York, Pennsylvania, Illinois, so on and so forth, going down the list. Georgia, look at all the people there. That's a big number of votes. And if you remember what we went through even earlier, how many votes do you need to win? 270. Now, remember, if everybody votes in Arizona, there's over 6 million people that live here. It's not the first one at 270 votes. It's the first one at 270 Electoral College votes. So each state tallies up which candidate wins, and then those votes from that state go to that presidential candidate. By the way, if you're wondering, saying Washington, D.C., how did they get 3? They're not a state. You're right. It's kind of its own, District of Columbia, its own area there. So, 23rd Amendment, they said, yeah, you know what? We should give Washington, D.C., 3 votes there. Where does it go? With Maryland, Virginia? I don't know. Let's make it its own thing. So they did. If you go back and let's say a candidate wins every single state, well, the total is 538. So, if you get to 270, that's more than half, barely, more than half of 538. That's why you need 270 to win, to be president. If, and this has never happened, but if there would be a tie right at 269 for each candidate, it would actually go to the House of Representatives, and those people that we vote on would actually literally take a vote on who becomes president. Again, that's never happened. I don't know if it ever will happen, but it's a little neat side fact, in my opinion. Here we go. Let's take a couple of states. We have New York, 2 U.S. senators, and then 27 U.S. representatives, because there's a lot of people that live in New York. I mean, New York City alone is, 22 plus million and counting, right? So that's a lot. South Dakota, big state, not a lot of people. 2 U.S. senators, just like every other state, and 1 U.S. representative, so they get 3 electoral college votes. Again, at the beginning of this video, I called them points. It's not good to call them points. Let's call them votes, is what they really are. So again, you add up every last state. If you would win every single state, 538 votes, electoral college votes. And again, why it's called the Electoral College, I don't know. It's just something that started way back when, and that's just what it's called. Now, here are the exact numbers for 2020. Literally, again, tomorrow, these are the states that are going to start seeing red and blue, because that is the president that wins those states or has the most number of votes. Now, We're not going to get anything political here about I want the red or I want the blue, anything like that. But just so you understand, the blue color is the Democratic Party. The red color is the Republican. So blue is Democrat, red is Republican. I have a map here that I want to show you from 2016. All of you guys were alive in 2016. Some of you guys might not have exactly remembered this election, but here is what happened. Here's a little line here that says 270 wins. Now here's what they did. They kind of had the red start and go that way and the blue start and go that way. Now you can see that President Trump won 306 Electoral College votes and Hillary Clinton won 232 Electoral College votes. If you don't believe this chart, you can count up all the blue here, and it adds up to 232. 306 again is all President Trump. Now, another side note. There are 2 states that said, yeah, you know what? We don't want all of our Electoral College votes to go to one, because what if everybody, in the big cities votes one way, and everybody in the rural places vote one way? So if you're wondering why in the world does Maine have a red dot? Well, Maine actually, if I go back, has 4 Electoral College votes. And they split it up into 2 different sections. So this section gets 1 Electoral College vote, and the whole rest of the state gets 3. Nebraska is actually the other one, but in this case, in 2016, they break it up into 3 different ways, but all 3 of their ways went towards President Trump, and that's why it's all completely red. But sometimes you might see Nebraska with blue and red. So what's going on? That's why. They actually divide up the Electoral College votes, all 5 of them, into 3 different sections. So at any rate, I know this is a lot, and for some of you this might be completely new, but in my opinion, this is so interesting how our country votes on a president. And again, if you're watching this on Monday, this is happening tomorrow. Tomorrow is election day, and so you're going to see this on almost every channel. All these blue states and red states, and now I'm hoping you understand a little bit about what's going on. And remember, the main goal is to get to 270. 270. Now, if you get all these little small states in here, that's nice, that's great, but they don't add up very quickly, right? I mean, take a look at this. You got Montana, North Dakota, South Dakota, Wyoming, Nebraska, Kansas. I mean, what do we have there? 5, 11, 14, 17, 20, 23. And somebody wins California, as Hillary Clinton did. I mean, what is that? 6, 7 states I mentioned is only 23 Electoral College votes, and if you win California, that's 55. I mean, that's huge. Imagine if you win California, Texas, Florida, New York, all the big states with a lot of people. That can get you way ahead of your competitor if that would happen. Now, to kind of help you out, here's your assignment. Now, I know it's kind of small because I had to try to fit it on this page, but way down here, you can see that you have 270 to win. And these are all the states in alphabetical order according to their abbreviation. Arizona is AZ. And here's the deal. First of all, I'm asking you to do this, but I'm not going to grade it. It's just an assignment to help you learn. If you do this, and if you do this well, I will give you extra credit. Again, I'm not going to grade it, but it will give you extra credit if you do it and do it well. And, I'm still asking you to do it, if you would, please. But here's what you do. I'm going to ask you to find somebody in your house to go against. And you don't have to pick, the candidates' names. It's you against your auntie. Or you against your cousin. If you can't find anybody, you can kind of play you against yourself if you want. And you got to decide who goes first. Flip a coin, rock, paper, scissors, shoot, whatever it may be. And you literally get to take turns, one at a time, and pick states. Now, I know that's not exactly how the president gets elected, but it kind of helps you see how this works. You're going to need 2 different colors. If you want blue and red, great. You don't have to. If you want to choose green and pink, that's fine. But let's say you pick heads and flip the coin and you get to go first. I would strongly suggest you pick California. And so what you're going to do is if you pick the color green, you can find California, boom, color it in green, and know that you got 55 votes. Now, yes, you are going to have to do some mathematics, okay? I also generally I just outline California in green so I know that that's my state, right? And then maybe your auntie, if she's thinking, she'll pick Texas. So there's TX, and she's pink, so I'll put in pink here, and then 38, and you might have to keep track, on these columns, or you keep track on a pad of paper there, because again, you're gonna have to add it up, and I'm assuming if you go next, you get California, she gets Texas, you might pick Florida. Okay, 55 plus 29, man, tough one, but you're gonna have to get it 84. But you're gonna have to keep adding it up there, okay? So at any rate, how many points you need to win? Cheat sheet on bottom, you need 270. So the first one to get to 270, hey, you're going to be president for the next 4 years. Congratulations. Now, that's your assignment. Again, not going to get graded. You don't have to do it. I am asking you to do it to help learn about the Electoral College. Have a little fun with it, and if you do it and do it fully, do it well, you get a little boost in your grade, a little extra credit there, okay? Hey guys, Lord's blessings to you today. I hope you learned about this, because it is something that's really gonna be right in front of our face here for the next couple of days, and we're gonna continue talking about tomorrow. But anyways, I think this is fun and interesting. I hope you did too. Lord's blessings to you guys.